Good evening, classmates, and thank you for having me this evening. I'm gonna get started with my 30-minute program, going to the book that we've been reading all semester, titled From Plot to Narrative by the author Ellis. And in From Plot to Narrative, Ellis goes into a deep description on how to understand the narrative and plot of our stories better, teaching us how to make bigger and better storyboards, and teaching us how to put the right content and to make sure that we have a good conflict within our story. But most importantly, my favorite was layer 3, sensory imagery, where she explained to us on how to input more sensory into all of our tellings to help paint a bigger and better picture. And with that, I'd like to take us back to the Celtic Harvest Festival, where me and some of my other classmates here had an opportunity to tell. And the story that I chose at the time was Elidor. Elidor from the island of Ireland, when he went to the mystical, magical caves of the fairy people. And Alice had brought to my attention that I should use a lot more sensory imagery. So let me share that with you guys again. Long, long ago, on the island of Ireland, in the ancient city of Dublin, there lived a young boy, a young lad, by the name of Elidor. And Elidor was like any other lad. He would help his mother and father with all their chores, feed the animals, shear the sheep. They had a little ranch right outside of town with wooden posts and a log house. And Elidor was a lonely child. He was a single child. He didn't have any siblings. So he gave everything he had to his mom and dad: friendship, hard work, and love. But upon traveling the countryside one evening, Elidor recalls where the rainbow hit right at the spot on a cave. And it seemed to him that every time it rained, that rainbow hit in the same spot every time. So he trekked on up through the valley, passing many herds of sheep and goat along the way, until he got to the rock side and the rocky road, and trekked his way all the way up to the entrance of the cave. And as soon as he got to the cave, it was dark inside, but to his amazement, there were two mystical, magical men, fairies. They were standing at the entrance with open arms. Elidor, we've been waiting for you. We've been waiting for you. We see that you see that the rainbow ends here, and here's where it all begins. Follow us. Come into our mystical, magical cave. So Elidor did as they said and went into the cave, and it was dark no more, for they had torches lit up on the sides, and you could just see all the fragments of gems and gold and silver and diamonds and rubies glistening off the flames of the fire. And as they got further into the canyon, the cave entrance came up to a big boulder. And in an instant, the mystical, magical men snapped their fingers, and the boulder went to one side, and they proceeded forth. Now, have any of you guys ever seen a candy cane game, or the colors of the rainbow? Just so many magnificent colors. Well, as soon as they crossed to the other side of that boulder, that was the that was the magical, mystical land that the fairies were talking about. And Elidor proceeded forth in amazement, for he saw onyx, emerald, diamonds, sapphire, rubies. It was just eye candy at its best. So they took Elidor to the center of the village, and there he met a strange looking fella with red hair, a long top hat. He had a 3-leaf clover on his shirt, and black boots with green pants. And this was the town leader, and he told Elidor, he said, Elidor, we invite you welcomely to come and participate in our games of a place of truth and happiness. But we ask one thing of you, that you don't take anything out of here. Don't take a single thing from this cave, because we've done a lot to protect this mystical magical cave, and we've took pride in protecting it. And we don't want our secret to be known. Now please, have a good time and enjoying the truth, the fun, and the games. And with that, Elidor went off with his original first buddies and participated in all kinds of games. They were having shot put games, javelin throwing. They were seeing who could pitch rocks the furthest. They were even kicking around a pigskin. Looked like modern day soccer. And before you knew it, he had just got caught up with time, and time had slipped him by, and it was late night. He told his newfound friends that he must be going now, and he hurried back out through the cave, down through the rocky side, past the goats and the sheep, all the way down to the rock bed and into the forest where his home was. And as soon as he got home, he told his mom and dad about all the great things that had happened, and they just kind of looked at him with disbelief. Says, okay, that's fine, Elidor, that's fine. And they went ahead and told him to get ready for the night, for tomorrow was going to be a long day. He had to go to school for a couple hours in the morning, and he had a tremendous amount of chores in the evening. The next morning, Elidor woke up, got started on his morning chores, got ready for school, and booked off. Later on that evening, when he came back, his mom had intrigued him and said, next time you go to this mystical magical place, why don't you bring me something back so I can believe you, my son, so I can make sure you're safe. And Elidor pondered for a minute and said, okay, sounds good. So with that, I guess about a month passed by, and Elidor began to miss that place once again, and his chores had lightened up, and he was able to get free. And it was a Sunday just like it was the last time. And he booked off to the countryside, past the goats, past the sheep, all the way up to where the entrance of the cave is at. And just at that moment, it had started raining on the leeward side of the island, and the rainbow had cast in the exact same spot as it always has. And there appeared the two mystical magical fairies. And these fairies took Elidor inside once again with open arms, and they proceeded to the games. Once again, the leader of the fairies had told Elidor, don't take anything, but enjoying the truth, the fun, and the happiness of the games. And there they were, playing all along the courtyards, the same games that they had played last time. And it was just so vibrant in color and amazing. Elidor just loved it to death. But he couldn't resist what his mom had told him. His mom had told him, bring me back something, a token, a souvenir. And with that, Elidor was going to cross the line he knew he should not cross. Elidor took a little diamond. He took a little diamond from the counting board peg, how they keep score. And with that little diamond, he stuffed it into his sock, and he told his friends bye and bolted out. All the way running back in aspiration and eagerness to tell his mom of where he had been. And as soon as he got inside, he pulled out the diamond. He says, Mom, look. And at the moment she looked at the diamond, and her eyes opened up wide and her mouth opened to its fullest, the two fairies that had originally met Elidor come by and souped it up out of his hand and spat on him. He said, Elidor, we had told you to keep our secret protective. Now we cannot trust you no more. For you breaking the rules, you'll never be able to come back to the mystical magical land ever again. And with that, Elidor was saddened, and he moped around for several months, wishing that he could go back to the place that made him happy. And the moral of the lesson here is that when we steal and we take stuff that isn't ours, doors can shut. Doors can shut that can never be opened again, leaving us enslaved to sadness. Thank you.